Well, how you doing, guys? It's Chris from Northland Bushcraft. I realize it's been a while since I've done a video, but been extremely busy. Being on vacation and dealing with work and a bunch of other things going on at once. It's not that I haven't been out in the bush, just I haven't had time to film anything. Currently out right now today, I'm out looking for an antler shed. Want to find one before the porcupines get a hold of it. With the intent that I want to make a blade handle for a new knife that I've gotten. Got the geese here squawking in behind me. They don't like me being in the pond right now. Of course, the ice has just come out, so I got all the geese coming in and the ducks coming in. They want to use my ponds to nest, so they're getting a little chirpy on me here because they can see me. But yeah, I'm out looking for an antler shed, and I'm trying to find a half decent one. Problem with my property is I got more does on my property than I do the bucks. The bucks just kind of pass through, so usually finding one's pretty hard. Like I say, yeah, I want to find one, so I'm planning on making a handle for a knife out of it, or the components of that bone or the antler. I've experimented once. I built a quick one, which is this right here. This one's just made out of maple. It's not done yet. Maple and the Mora blade, and some brass, and a little bit of leather in there. It was the very first try at it. Like I said, I'm not done. But what I did learn, the mistake I did make, is I didn't tape the blade to protect it, and I did end up touching the blade on the sander. So my other blade, which is a 6-inch blade, like I said, I learned from that mistake. But I do have when I find an antler, I'm going to use the antler bone. I got some black walnut, some cherry, and then the maple, and I'm going to kind of integrate all three of them together to make my handle. The blades themselves, I get them from Lee Valley. This one is the composite steel, so it's stainless steel and carbon. I find these ones don't work very well on the ferro rods. The other one, 6-inch blade, is high carbon steel, so it'll work significantly better. It doesn't have the ground back, so it's got the straight edge, as opposed to this one's a little bit rounded too, so it's hard to get a good catch for your fire rod. So I got that. I'm going to be out testing it a little bit today just to see how well I did, how well the knife holds up. Should hold up pretty good. In the interim, I figure while I'm out here, I might as well shoot a video, beyond the fact that I'm looking for an antler, to get a water source behind me, obviously, as you can tell by the geese. So I figured I'd show you what I do when I'm using collecting water from like bodies like this, like large ponds, and how I filter it, and then obviously how I filter it and get rid of the parasites in the water. It's a very simple method. It's very, very cheap. And at the same time, I might as well, while I'm here, I'll have myself a lunch and whatnot. Obviously, I want to filter this water because there are beavers in here and there are otters in this water. So there's going to be the parasites in the water from their waste. Same with the geese and the ducks. And there's fish. So I definitely want to treat the water because I really don't want beaver fever. It's kind of nasty. So in the interim, what I need to do is get myself a fire going first. Kind of a goofy day out. We went from having 65-degree temperatures up here in northern Ontario to now it's freaking snowing again. So let me get a fire going, and I'll show you what I do with my collecting of water and how I quickly filter it and then get rid of the parasites. All right, stand by. All right, guys, got my fire going here. Of course, I gotta be careful. I got a lot of pine needles here. I don't want to get away on me. But as discussed, we're looking at purifying water. So we get the pond, which is actually directly behind you. What I have here is just my standard canteen. Okay. There's two ways of doing this. One, obviously, because the canteen's plastic, I can't put it on the fire. It goes without saying. It's common sense, right? But if I needed to fill it up, I do have the canteen cup that I can use. But what I also carry in my canteen cover is coffee filters. Coffee filters are extremely cheap. You get a ton of them. They're great for removing sediment from the water. So that's what I'm going to do. But instead of putting in the water in my canteen, because I want to make a soup, I'll put it into the bottom basin of my chow kit. That way, I can put it right on the fire and boil it up, and I'm good to go. Alternative to this is, if I wanted to, yes, I can do it 1 cup at a time in the canteen cup. You know, filter it into it, boil it, because that's going to kill all the parasites, right? And then let it cool, put it in the canteen. Difference with that is, it's obviously going to take a while to fill up this canteen, boiling it a cup at a time. Whereas if you have a pot or a large can that you can use to fill with, you know, filter the water into that vessel, put it on the fire, bring it to a boil, a good boil, because like I said, there's beavers and otters and other wildlife using this pond. I want to make sure I kill everything really well. So I'll put it on the fire, bring it to a good boil, and then let it cool, and then I can transfer it into my canteen. But I'll show you how I do this in a second here. What I have, or what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take my canteen cup, dip it in the water, come back with one of the coffee filters, and I'm going to pour it into the big pot there. So you give me a second, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay guys, I got my water here. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not. It's actually, turn this, bear with me here for a second. It's rather brackish. Right? It's kind of not exactly clear. A little bit of sediment in there. Looks like mosquito larvae in there already too. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do, put this back here, is, you can see that pot. Get up here. There we go. I'm going to take one of my coffee filters. Put that down for a second. Grab one of the coffee filters. There's several ways you can do this. You can either go over top. I don't have a way to hold that on right now. So I didn't bring an elastic band with me. If I brought an elastic band, I could just push that down on there, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do is create a funnel out of the coffee filter. This is where the cone-shaped ones come in handy. As a matter of fact, hang on a second. I do. Perfect. This is where the cone-shaped ones come in really handy. It just makes your life a little bit easier. As you can see, there's just a cone-shaped one. So when you don't have something to tie this down onto your pot, get a cone-shaped filter, pour the water into it. This will help strain off, because coffee filters are basically a microfiber, or microfilters. It's not going to get rid of parasites, but it's going to get rid of most of the crap that's in the water. Like, it's definitely going to strain out any bugs, especially mosquito larvae, even though you'll boil them and kill them. It'll also take out a lot of the heavier irons that are in the water, and that's where this brackish color is coming from, because it's heavy iron in the water here. There we go. Now, if you wanted to, you could filter it twice. But as you'll see, it went from being brackish, I'll bring this camera over here for a sec, to pretty clear. Right. So I'm going to throw some more wood on the fire here. I got a good bed of coals going now, but I want to get a little more fire going. I'm going to boil that up. Now if I wanted to, like I said, I can fill this pot completely, bring it to a boil, a good boil, and transfer it to my canteen when I was done. Alternative to using this canteen cup, I do have, let me throw a piece of wood on here first. I do have, and you've seen it before, my water bag. You can use Ziploc bags to collect things, but you've seen this before. Come over to my kit here. The dry bags, this dry sack, I could fill that completely up, and again, rather than running back and forth to the pond, doing changes of water, I can just fill this up because it holds, that one was 8 liters. Okay, if you can get the bigger ones, they can go up to 20 liters. You get one of them big boys. Well, you got 20 liters of water. Just travel it back to your camp and boil and go. Right. And I do have an Nalgene bottle. I could do that. I could dip this into the water, out into the pond here, fill it with water, and again, bring it to a boil. I do have the disinfecting tabs, but why use them when you can boil them, right? Save those for days when you don't have time to make a fire and you just basically grab them water to go. Right, then you can drop your water tab in there, kill off anything that's in the water. So that's how I like to filter things. I do have a Katadyn water filter, but I just got that put away. I don't use it very often. That's more for if something went sideways around the house. Power goes out because I'm on a well system. Power goes out, I lose all my water. So that's there for if I need to get more water into the house. But other than other backup generators and stuff like that, if it's a full failure, I have it. And it's 50,000 gallons that I can use for. But for bushcrafting, for day packing, just being out and about, and you're looking to replenish your water source or your water, and you have a water source, coffee filters are a surefire way to help you remove a fair amount of sediment out of there. And like I say, you can filter it twice. Once you bring it to a boil, you'll kill off every parasite that's out there. And then you're laughing. If you need to fill up your canteen again, let her cool, then dump it back in the canteen, and you're good to go. All right. So stick around. I'm going to whip up a lunch for myself and get this water to a boil because that's what I'm going to use. And I don't know, we'll sit back and enjoy the sights and the sounds here a little bit more. Ducks are quacking, geese are quacking. Actually, they don't quack, they honk. Then I'm going to get back out there and see if I can find myself an antler. All right, stick around. Alright guys, not surprisingly, I'm glad I was not too far away from home. One of the benefits of being outside and experimenting with your tools, playing with your tools and getting to know them, that new knife I made, she broke. Which actually really shocked me considering it's a Mora knife. It was a Mora blade that I got from Lee Valley Tools. I had the 4-inch tang on it and she snapped. Just batoning. That piece of wood there is just batoning chips off of it, and it snapped. So it was very shocking actually to have that happen, because Moras are very reputable knives. But you know, if you're gonna have something fail on you, it's better while you're out playing. You know, that was the composite, stainless steel carbon one. You know, it was only $13, so I wasn't overly upset about it. Just threw the knife handle in the fire there. But regardless, you know, that's kind of disappointing. But like I said, great place to learn it is not when you really need it. You want to make sure your stuff works, and obviously that didn't. Hopefully the next one that I have, which is all high carbon steel, is a little tougher than that. You know, oh well. If you're wondering where I'm getting the logs from, like this one here, I'm actually, like I said, I'm also testing the equipment out. And what I was using was one of these chainsaw things. It actually does a pretty good job. You know, I think I paid $8 for that. It's not one of the better ones that are out there. Just to test them to see if they worked. I'm not going to go and spend the money on the higher end ones if, you know, I don't like them. So that one actually did pretty good. It cuts those logs pretty damn quick. So obviously I think I'll go out and get a better one with better teeth on it, probably a little more aggressive and a lot quicker. But, you know, that's what this is all about, man. Getting out, playing with your gear, testing it, make sure it's not going to fail you, because you're out there for the real deal. You want the best stuff you can have. I'm getting smoked out here. And obviously, that knife blade was not one of the best I can have. I still have my tested and true buck knife. Actually, right now it's in my gun cabinet, because I wanted to test this blade out, but man, that's disheartening. For something so reputable to break that easy. But hey, I guess you learn, eh? Anyhow, get back to my water boiling here and get my lunch made up. Alright guys, I had my lunch. Nothing spectacular. Mac and cheese with some tuna in it. Give me my carbs and proteins. Finishing up a coffee here. Gonna pack up, leave these poor geese alone because they're trying to pair off and find their nesting areas. So they're fighting with each other, which is kind of funny. Clean everything up, make it look like I was never here in the first place. There's a storm brewing in, so figure I'll look for my antler tomorrow. I'll find something and try my hand at making a knife again. Hopefully this one works a little better than this. Oh well. That's the whole point of being out here. Test your equipment, test yourself, practice, practice, practice. And hopefully when things go wrong and you need them, this doesn't happen to you, because you've tested your equipment and you know it's proven itself to you. So get out there, get outside and play, enjoy the weather. Summer's slowly coming to us. Being out in nature is a great place to be. Suggest you get there. See you later.